The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. The following views are strictly the views of James Hebert and do not represent anybody that works with the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media or is a part of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media.
Oh boy, it's a juicy one, folks. Stay tuned. Straight from JHebert Studios, James covers the good, the bad, and the ugly, and gives his perspective on things. Now here is your host, James Hebert. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the JHebert side of things. I'm your host, JHebert, and man, we got a lot to talk about in the next two upcoming JHebert side of things. Oh boy, a lot has gone down. Let's just get this out of the way now before we even break down anything. Before we even talk about what today's topic of discussion is going to be today. You notice that we still have the signature for the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, even though that is actually on hiatus right now. Part of the reason I still have that is because I'm too lazy to freaking cut that out, and I didn't have time to make a new intro. I'm that limited on time to even be able to produce these two podcasts as it is. So that is why I didn't even remove it yet. For those who are not in the know, I am just going to leave it as simple as this. Jeff Meacham got fucked by the YouTube copyright system, and as a result, will now no longer get his payout. And he is fighting tooth and nail. We have a plan going forward to an extent, but we don't know if the Multiverse of Media is now going to continue or if it's just going to be completely defunct. And we all do our own things and then still do the watch-alongs and just not call it a multiverse or whatever. So we have no idea what's going on yet. Nobody has a clue at this rate. We may never know. The multiverse might not come back, or at the very least it won't be as it was. I have no idea what's going on yet. It's pure speculation at this point because Jeff is basically running around like a headless chicken at this point, trying to figure out what the fuck to do. Overall, I have no love lost for YouTube. This is definitely one of the many reasons I will not ever monetize my channel. It's one of the reasons why I never will try to rely on YouTube AdSense on any channel that I ever create or any channel that I ever manage. With the exception of channels that may already have that enabled for themselves. And the reason being is because of bullshit like this. There was another incident on YouTube earlier this week that Tommy C actually put out. That was absurd. I haven't even gotten that tweet up here in the laundry list of fucking tweets that I got here. But somebody who's a small-time YouTuber, reached, I think, a milestone. And then right after he reached that milestone, got demonetized. And then, Nicholas DiOrio and Tommy C came to his defense. So this happens all the time, especially for smaller creators. It's no secret. The YouTube system does not give a fuck about the small man anymore. They never have given a fuck about the small man. Unless you're filthy fucking rich or even mid-class on YouTube, right, where you're making a decent living. chances are you're going to get fucked. And that's just kind of the way it is. It's been like that for a while. So that is why we are not really going to rely on YouTube AdSense. I think if you noticed our last karaoke, we didn't even call it open mic now. We're calling it Saturday Shenanigans because we're that kind of iffy on how things are going right now. We have no idea what to even say, if we could even use open mic night, if we could use any of what we had created, because YouTube kind of scared us that bad. We called it Saturday Shenanigans Summer Send-Off. It was our karaoke night. We actually used PayPal for the first time. So I actually ended up getting paid from doing work with Jeff Foley. And directly by the fans, which I appreciate all of you, by the way. Thank you very much. Noah, I can say the same thing for him and for JJ and for Josh, who especially needed it. And I'm sure and for Walter. We all appreciated it. We wish we could have had more people, but unfortunately, we're now limited out of freaking nowhere because of this bullshit. So, it is what it is. Thank you very much anyway for your kind donations that night. It was very much appreciated. It was very much needed for all of us. And we all got a very even payout, I'd say. So, thank you again to the Dominguez's especially. And yeah. Hope to do another karaoke soon. You will see me on the All Out Call. We are doing a watch-along. I don't know if it's going to be any branded watch-along, but we are doing a watch-along nonetheless. It might be on my channel, might be on Noah's channel, who the hell knows. But we know it's going on a channel of some variety. So be on the lookout for that. If you don't see it live, you will see it the next day on my channel as a separate upload, or to Noah's channel, vice versa, same thing. And that's just kind of how things are right now. But yeah, speaking of All In, it is damn near almost 1 year ago where everything happened the way it happened, with the wrestling community and the events during the nonsense that was All In London last year, for both good and bad. As you all know, I did a podcast ages ago, back when a lot of things were a lot different, quite frankly. And I had quit professional wrestling at the time. I had needed a break for a while. I thought I just wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I needed to focus on other things at that point in my life, professionally, personally, for sure personally, and all sorts, right? So I had decided to opt out and not get angry over stupid bullshit in wrestling that was just never going to get fixed by screaming about it. What's done is done. What's the point in yelling about it? That was obviously over the Elite Punk bullshit, which, trust me, I am going to get into in this, because if I'm going to go over the year retrospective, you cannot, you can't just avoid that. Like, that's impossible. So it is going to be brought up again, but in the historical context, because you just can't just gloss over it. You have to talk about it. So that'll get mentioned. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of shit we're going to be talking about ad nauseum, because what we're going to do is open up a fucking rabbit hole. And I'm going to take y'all on that journey with me. But I had wrote a post first before I decided to do this podcast, because I thought writing something was a lot better than doing, a random podcast and then, doing whatever. So this is what I decided to do, and that's what we are going to read right now. So if you have not gone on my community post, I'm going to read it here for you so you don't have to. But if you want to see any updates, go ahead and check out my community post. Sometimes I post there. I posted a picture of my cat who unfortunately passed away, so RIP to my buddy George up in the heavens. So I do post there occasionally from time to time. So always check it. You never know. This was released last night before I went to sleep after what was a long day of editing and getting the final finishing touches to part one, possibly, of the Garry Hebert documentary, which might be coming out this weekend. It's a huge thing that we're even at this point. So yeah, don't want to spoil anything, but it might be coming out soon. So that was a long night, and I decided to do that so that way for today I could read this, and then we can also go over exactly what I mean by what I write here. So, for immediate release, All In London, from last year to now. I say I will be posting a podcast soon. Hi guys. But I wanted to actually write my thoughts down because I thought these thoughts mattered to me, and I do feel it's necessary to get them out in a written form than just talk about it randomly first. Firstly, yes, I am still doing streams and podcasting for pro wrestling, despite what I said after that blunder that was backstage. That was that backstage shit show from last year's All In. I do feel like it's something to be said. I definitely did go back on what I said, but a lot of that had to do with people actually appreciating my opinion when it comes to things on the industry. Jeff Meacham and Williams were desperate to have me back, provided I could feel positive about wrestling enough and don't phone it in because I'm dispassionate about it. Tonka Saw, aka Grapple Vision, had a full-on conversation with me telling me to stick with it because if it's something I enjoy, I should do it. So that's what I am continuing to do. That said, I do have my limits going forward as to how I enjoy my wrestling. You all have to understand that this is that this has gotten extremely toxic afterwards online. Twitter was a cesspool of negativity, and I'm not speaking on differing opinions when I mention that. I saw people who are fans of wrestling get death threats for being fans of CM Punk and expressing their displeasure when the Elite took a victory lap getting Punk fired. I then saw a lot of lawsuit allegations of what Vince did pretty soon after. I saw the toxic tribalism of both fan bases sides, from both wrestlers and fans alike, and it's still very much a problem. It hasn't slowed down. It makes this wrestling content not digestible to watch weekly anymore on any show. That's not just on any particular show. That's on any fucking show at this point. That much I have stayed true on, as I have only called AEW pay-per-views, and that's all I've watched. The reason for this is simple. If you go into something, you tend to try and research more about it online, or find out more about it online. That's just how easy it is. Everyone has a device now, and you are able to research this sport. Of pro wrestling. The issue is the discourse online is awful. The backstage drama is awful. The energy is negative on all fronts, and it all gets so volatile that any issues can lead to awful shit happening, from insults to death threats. It's completely taken over the space now. It's a plague, and it's literally become one of the most toxic communities / subcultures on the planet now. The only two communities that are worse than the IWC are the Smash community and the My Little Pony community, for obvious fucking reasons. The former of which I'm going to be discussing about next podcast, by the way. I maintain this community is so horrific now when it comes to discussing it. It's gotten so bad, it's rotted the professional wrestler's mindset at times, and has seeped into management. This has been a case with both companies, not just one, by the way. If that's the shit you're going to see when you go onto the pro wrestling space, after just watching one show and enjoying it, you'd see that discourse online, and it's a complete people repellent. There is no way I could do that every week. No way I could do that every week. I'll reiterate that one. Especially when one product, AEW, goes into the shit and makes some bullshit work shoot angles out of it. There's no way. I physically can't do it anymore. I have better uses of my time. I literally said I'm going to touch grass, and I have. And I plan on exploring other interests and opportunities as I go along. I'd rather focus on shit that is more productive and have zero time for toxic community for a toxic community on a weekly basis. If a hardcore wrestling fan, which is me, who has become semi-casual at best at this point, doesn't have time for it, there sure is no way I can make a full-on casual viewer of wrestling or a person who's never watched wrestling ever get into this shit. You know why? Because chances are they will look it up online, see this bullshit, fall into this fucked up rabbit hole, and walk completely out. It's low-key embarrassing. I shouldn't have to be embarrassed. And trust me, I'm not embarrassed of the actual performance and the artists in the ring. The athletes in the ring. I love wrestling and always will love it, but it's not my only love anymore. Because I am embarrassed for all the toxic online discourse and how it can send management and talent into a tailspin of negativity at times. It's very disheartening. Trust me. There are tweets that give this context, and at this point, it's getting insanely long as it is, this statement. But in conclusion, it has been a year, and my stance on wrestling has not changed much. While I am passionate still, I must stay away from it and off social media for the most part, discussing it because it will suck the life out of me. I'm too apathetic and feel way too much to be able to enjoy it weekly. I'm going to try to get better with that, but until then, I'm sticking with my semi-casual viewing of pro wrestling until I think I can handle it. I'll see you all for the watch-along, for the all-in call, at least, if nothing else. Now, when it comes to these screenshots that I have, right, this is the context that I initially had. And these are just 5, right? These are just 5 examples. I have a lot more now. We're going to go, and I want to make this very clear, folks. If you think I'm out of my mind when I say this, and that it's not actually that bad, it's that bad. Especially since Elon bought the Twitter. It is a complete shit show now. Like, even when I did my first purge after everything had happened, Twitter has changed so much where you get a lot of that feedback even though you blocked it. So, like, I can't win there either. So, I just avoid Twitter pretty much entirely. And then when I do go on Twitter, I see what happens, and then I just kind of keep myself in that, mindset of be as neutral as possible with every topic, right? Because otherwise, you're going to get too emotional and you're going to freak the fuck out. Now, we're going to go into this rabbit hole. We're going to start with these screenshots. I got more Twitter things here because it is that bad. If you don't think it's that bad, trust me, I'm going to show you it's that bad. That's not to discourage anybody to watch pro wrestling. If you want to watch pro wrestling, I very much encourage you to watch it and stay off social media if you do. Right? That's all I'm going to say there. This is the girl who got death threats from flipping off Hangman Adam Page, which Hangman actually came to the defense of after Punk was fired, and she expressed her opinion very, very roughly at that time. And the fans thought that their reaction was justified by sending her death threats and sexual things and all sorts of shit. Like, basically saying there was some sexist, misogynistic, death threats bullshit. Like, it was a really bad fucking time for her. I don't even have the video, but if you've seen previous streams where I've talked about this, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. Wrestling put out a tweet 6 days prior, maybe 7 days prior now that I actually screen capped this. What is your current most bold take in pro wrestling? Kelsey replied to that tweet and quote tweeted, "Internet wrestling fans have ruined what a lot of I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I suck at reading. I apologize, folks. What is your current most bold pro wrestling take?" She replies, "Internet wrestling fans have ruined a lot of what made pro wrestling enjoyable." I replied with, "It's not a bold take after what you went through. You're 100% correct." There was a few other things. There was a couple conversations that I actually screenshotted from here. Dora said, "A few years ago, I was so involved in reading a lot of what Twitter posts and comments within wrestling Twitter that were within wrestling Twitter that it almost got to the point where I almost stopped watching. I'm glad it didn't get me to that point, but some of these people here suck the fun out of watching." I reply, "Brother, I stopped watching weekly for that reason. I can't because if you're interested in the storyline, you can go online to find out more about it. Seriously, other than the Smash Bros community, the IWC toxic tribalistic nonsense has ruined wrestling. It's the truth." Dora replied to that with, "It's soul sucking and all you're trying to do is have a discussion." And I said, "Yeah, man, you ain't wrong. It's gross." By the way, there's plenty of that I got going on in this rabbit hole. Plenty of that. Sounds like some personal problem, to be honest. By the way, shout out Cage, because Cage and I actually had a pretty damn good discussion. He actually followed me after a lot of this. Sounds like a personal problem, to be honest. If you engage in too much negativity, eventually it will consume you, but only if you let it. This app definitely gets filled with a lot of things through it, so I get it. I said, to be honest, you also probably haven't had a bunch of death threats because you flipped off Adam Page once because CM Punk got fired. She did get those death threats. Cage then replied with, "I've gotten death threats for being black, to be honest. I don't really take anything on here too serious." And I said, "That's effing lame. I'm sorry you have to go through that. But I also say that getting death threats for anything is awful, especially for the color of your skin. Just because you can be used to it doesn't make it right. That's my thing. It wasn't right for her to get that shit either." He ended up liking this tweet after it was up for a day. I actually replied to him 4 days late, so my apologies, Cage. But again, thank you for the follow, and thank you very much for understanding where I was coming from there. It's really that simple. Like, it shouldn't have to be one of those things where... And don't get me wrong, this is a problem entertainment-wide. I'm not disputing that. I'm not discouraging that. I get that. But it's very prevalent in the wrestling community, even especially in the wrestling community. It's awful. It's awful. This guy, We Are Wrestling tweeted, streamer Los Polios goes off on Liv Morgan after fan receives backlash for not knowing who she is. Like, I swear, I can't fucking be asked. Oh my god. So, this guy, and I probably should have gotten the video clip of this. I'm gonna see if I can find it quick, because you guys actually have to see this shit to fucking believe it, man. Like, I actually can't fucking believe that, you know, as I look for this, just so you all are aware and understand what I'm saying, this guy, and here it is, I found the tweet, like, instantly. He went to his first wrestling meet and greet. I think this was Fanatics Fest. This is the recent Fanatics Fest, right? So this is the one that there was a lot of shit show issues going on with. So this guy, this streamer, you know, he gets fucking hate out of nowhere for not knowing who she is. And I mean genuinely attacked. Genuinely attacked. For this. And I'm not, even if it was not a death threat and it was just an insult. Why? Why? Listen to this clip. It's fucking unbelievable.
Follow this. Okay, I didn't watch it growing up. All I saw since I did that stream in New York on Friday is dudes going on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere, saying that I'm being awk. I disrespected women's wrestling. I disrespected the sport of WWE. I did all this dude. I still don't know who the that lady was, bro. That is not an insult. I'm just a casual. That should not be insulting to you. I don't give a who you know or don't know. But there's dudes sitting here. How could you say this about my queen Liv? Your queen? Somebody should slap you in the mouth, bruh. You're going on Twitter defending a fucking WWE superstar? You have problems.
I genuinely, like, you guys don't understand. When I saw this fucking clip, I had brain rot after this. Like, it sent me down. Like, I couldn't fathom treating somebody this horrific. Like, if they're new to the industry and know nothing about it. Like, I was blown. My mind was blown. I couldn't believe that this guy got that much hate to the point he felt he had to address it on stream. No, but the IWC is not a fucking problem, right? I mean, come on. Like, it's not that deep. He didn't know. He's just getting into the sport. The whole idea of the sport of pro wrestling is to, and this is true with any form of entertainment, by the way, is to get new fans. Not push fans away because of your insider baseball term gatekeeping bullshit. Stop it. Get some goddamn help. It's not that deep, bro. He didn't know. Why? Like, he saw it. And by the way, if this is going to be a fucking problem, oh my god. He's a fucking red-blooded male who saw a pretty blonde woman with a world championship and he thought, hey, let me go take a picture with her. Oh my god, he disrespected women's wrestling having that notion. Hello? What are we doing here? You're killing me, Smalls. Fuck, man. Like, just let him try and get into it on his own pace, man. Not everybody needs to know who everybody is the minute you come in. Like, oh my god, man. And then this one. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, this is my tweet that I said. Just to clarify, this is the Punk stuff. There was no, it was still dumb releasing the footage. Don't give a rat's ass about the storyline. Don't give a rat's ass about the storyline now that the top star was chased out. No, that doesn't mean WWE is perfect either, hence why I don't watch Wrestling Weekly anymore. Pretty simple statement. I have that pinned to my Twitter still. Because, you know, you have to fucking beat these people over the head to actually illustrate a fucking point. In the pro wrestling space. It's actually fucking disgusting. And if you think it ends there, just at those screenshots, right? You think it just ends there? Oh, man, are you mistaken? Oh, we got a lot more to go, folks. We got a lot more to go. So this happened. Let's just talk about this. We're actually going to play the clip that got... This is Ring of Honor, by the way, which barely anybody watches, right? But Ring of Honor had a show on August 15th. This is where the clip was taken. A fan account said butter. Okay. This is the move that was butter. Boom. Okay. So, it's a Pillsbury flop that he, instead of doing a reverse DDT and then lifting him up for the tombstone, He did a Fellsbury flop and then just transitioned into the tombstone rather sloppily. Right? That's it. It's not the fucking worst thing in the world. Like, I'm not that fucking bothered by it. I think it's too convoluted for my taste, but whatever, right? Well, yet this fucking guy says... So this guy, everybody here hates. Y'all hate fun, I swear. Right? Now, this is in regards to people were so volatile about how sloppy this move looked that they thought being angry and yelling about it was the solution. So I said, I feel people are way overreacting to a simple move. Sure, it's not how I would have done it. It's definitely not how it could have been done. But to hate the guy for one convoluted move is a bit weird. Like, because I didn't know, I genuinely didn't know what else to fucking say. It is weird. It's just weird to fucking hate someone that much. Like, that vitriolic type of hate. Right? That's just one. This Mark Henry shit, I mean, fuck me. A part of it is, like, it just makes fucking wrestlers and who are turned podcasters and management toxic. I've mentioned that already. Y'all know what Henry said about Vince and the whole, if you're suffering, you should be suffering all the time. Henry, that's not how fucking trauma works, pal. Thank you, come again. I like Henry. I like Henry. I really do, but it was a bad take. However, saying that, oh, thank God he's not in AEW anymore, or thank God he left. Oh, he's a complete shell of his former self. Shit like that. Like this guy, Jack Cassidy said this. Okay? Thank God Mark Henry is not in WWE, or not in AEW anymore. I said, keep in mind, Henry was abused by Vince too. Some people don't see it until it's too late, sadly. I won't say fuck Henry's time in AEW because he spearheaded that outreach program and that's really awesome. But bad take on the Vince thing aside, he did very good for AEW in that field. Like, good people can be wrong twice a day. A broken clock can be fucking right twice a day. Like, it's not that deep. I get it was a very rough take, and I agree with that. He definitely could have said that way better than he did. I understand that he wants to think of Vince in a positive light. I understand there were probably figures before Vince that, you know, treated him in that type of light. That doesn't make it okay. And I think, hopefully, Henry probably doesn't give a shit, but I hope he actually words shit better going forward after this. People make mistakes, man. Like, yes, it's a bad fucking thing to say. But to fucking, just the vitriol back is not fucking helping either. The vitriol from Henry doesn't help, and then the vitriol back to Henry does not help either. It's a double fucking negative. So that happened. That was one of the things where I replied to that. And then there's more things here. This is in reply to Kelsey's tweet. There was a guy named Josh. He said, nah, if you let people ruin wrestling for you on the internet, then you need to stop letting random people's opinions affect what you enjoy, lol. And then Nick said, the problem is when people have to spoil shit. That's not even the main reason she brought this point up, but okay, Nick. It's pretty easy to avoid that kind of stuff. And Nick said, I agree, but it depends on who, what you're following, because I don't follow wrestling. I don't follow the Wrestling Observer or Meltzer, but I see their reports all the time. And that's true. Like, it's everywhere. It's fucking absurd. I said, even though it wasn't a part of Kelsey's point, I said, yeah, Nick has a point here. Legit, I cleaned and purged most of my feeds, but still got spoilers sometimes. Basically, you have to be completely offline not to get something spoiled. And since Elon bought Twitter, forget about it. There's no hope. And that's the truth. You guys don't understand. I had witnesses that actually saw me purge my feeds, every feed, right? My Facebook's way better. My YouTube feed's way better. Twitter is not. It's a shit show, man. Especially on Twitter. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the other places I mentioned either. Trust me, it does. I'll be talking about one of those stories that doesn't involve a tweet, right? But god damn, man, it's just fucking absurd. So yeah, and then this Christian tweet we already went through. All right, let's talk about this one. So again, it's just it can't be both and. It has to be one way or the other way with a lot of these people on social media. Perfect example, this person named Peyton. The wrestling world steps all over Tony. WWE counter-produces him all the time. His wrestlers walk all over him because he's too nice. He's too nice. Anyways, if I was him, I'd sell World's End tickets as cheap as possible to get people to buy them over WWF or WWE. I don't know why it looks like an F on my screen. It's probably just a TV monitor. My reply to that was simple. He is too nice, and that's why Punk and others, I should have wrote in parentheses, walked. That's the thing. It's been a problem for a while. Trust me. WWE has their own problems, no doubt, but so does AEW. That's what I mean by it can be both and. WWE and any wrestling promotion shouldn't have to stop running where they were originally going to run to just because some other fucking company's going to be there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you fuckers show up during WrestleMania weekend and purge that audience as well during the week? I'm just saying. If we're gonna criticize, make it make sense, right? Come on. It's a double-edged sword at that point. I don't even see it as that big of a fucking deal. AEW is clearly gonna get more ticket sales if they hadn't even killed the market. They might have. Who the fuck knows? They're struggling domestically as it is. But I guarantee you, if they do sell out, and AEW will sell out, it's because it's a pay-per-view. WWE is doing a house show that same night. Who gives a fuck about a house show? Unless you're a WWE fan and you want to see the WWE stars and you're a younger kid, by all means go for it. There's barely anybody in the fucking audience in AEW that's kids. You're going to have two different audiences. It's fine. Let both exist. You don't need to make it this us versus them mentality, especially when AEW, Ring of Honor, whatever, has done the same thing to WWE on multiple occasions. They've done the same thing to TNA on multiple occasions. And then the whole idea that WWE has fuck-ups and, but AEW's perfect, or vice versa, is so fucking retarded. I can't understand this logic gap. Both can be true. Both companies are not perfect. Both companies are not doing bad. You can say both. You can all, they're both imperfect. They're always going to be imperfect. That's fine. You can still fucking enjoy what you like. I don't get that. So, again, both and, double negative, doesn't help anything. There's more here. Okay, yeah, the fucking Mark Henry thing. Alright, already went over that. Oh, man. This fucking idiot. I don't even care. Out him out. Fuck this cunt. Jobber Nation TV. He's one of the most toxic people on the fucking internet. NWA has been around since 1948. CMLL has been around since 1993, but I'm sure he already knows that. Or 1933, excuse me. Jobber Nation TV said, without Vince McMahon, there is no WWE. Without Vince McMahon, there is no AEW. Without Vince McMahon, there is no TNA. Without Vince McMahon, there is no wrestling. This guy clearly has skeletons in his closet if he's defending and dick riding Vince McMahon. That much so, somebody should definitely confiscate his shit. Feds, look him up! That's all I'm going to say there. I got nothing left to say on that except for the tweet I said. Tribalism at its finest, being so opinionated, you're an insufferable douchebag about it. This wrestling fan base in a nutshell now, sadly. It's as simple as that, man. Like, right there is Exhibit A as to why I just don't watch Wrestling Weekly anymore. We got more. What the fuck is this shit? Shaking my head. This is what it turns on ebots on X, now known as Twitter. This shit is extra cringe. This is a segment on Raw or SmackDown, whichever one of the two. It was Pretty Deadly and Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and they were celebrating something. I don't know. And then, like, somebody fucking came in and, like, attacked. I'm not sure. I think it was Bailey. I think that's Bailey. I'm not sure. I think it's Bailey. So, like, whatever. Cool. All I said was, Guy, MXM are on AEW's roster and they do the same thing. Relax. It's really not that deep. In fact, MXM Collective and Pretty Deadly would be a pretty dope match. Both teams can go, just saying. Like, again, the one's better than the other mentality. Like, WWE has Pretty Deadly. AEW now has the MXM Collective. Who, by the way, have now been more over since they actually left WWE. Since, you know, it actually went to AEW and Ring of Honor. They're actually more over now than they were when they were in WWE. I know a lot of people don't want to fucking admit that, and they want to just pretend that, because that's going to be the new flavor of the bunch, is hating on the MXM Collective, because they were the maximum male models and they were a dead act in WWE. They want to pretend that they can't get over. But the fact is they are. The last 3 events they've actually been on, they've gotten a reaction. Very similar to how Pretty Deadly gets a reaction. I don't see the fucking issue here. So, whatever. Basically kind of proves my point there. I think both can exist. I don't see the issue. I don't understand why people gotta say... And by the way, the whole point of this is for it to be cringe. Why then do you have to call e-bots out? Or e-bots, excuse me. There's e-bots, and then I guess the e-bots call the elite fans, like, elite sickos, right? There's e-bots and elite sickos. Bruh, who gives a shit? You're all fucking part of the problem. You're all part of this fucking problem here. Not one of you is better than the other here. Why do you have to fucking call out a fan base and fucking shit on people, whether they're new or not? What is the point here? I don't get it. The whole point of this segment was to be cringe, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys understand that, and how many colors there are, you know, the unicorn balloons and all this shit, and the male dancers, and Nia Jax literally cringing herself, and Tiffany Stratton thinking she did a great job. The whole idea was for it to be cringe. I mean, does nobody remember This Is Your Life with Mick Foley? With The Rock? The whole idea was for that to be cringe. There's... whatever. I'm arguing to the fucking void, but you guys get what I'm saying. I know I'm speaking to the fucking choir here on this. Oh boy, this tweet. Okay. WWE... This shit is so stupid! It's so stupid! WWE gives toddler titles to mayors, and AEW gives them replica titles with nameplates. LMFAO. Bruh. I don't even know who he was bashing. I assume he was bashing WWE for this. Bruh. Just fuck off. Fuck off. I said, we really just gonna bash one company over the other over every minute detail. I said minute detail. Fuck me. I suck at spelling, apparently. Please go off Twitter and touch grass. So there was that. Again, it's just more toxic bullshit. And then this was the... This was the fucking tweet that Henry said, and I said, hate to say it, Henry, but the text... Oh, this is a conversation I had with Eric. Okay, so... Surely he was taken out of context... Oh, it's worse. According to Henry, that negativity came about once the alleged victim stopped receiving any type of payment from McMahon. People were like, you're being insensitive. There's other people that suffered, Henry recalled. I said, yeah, but some of those people y'all talking about, the suffering got worse when the money ran out. Henry continued, for some reason, asking where was the suffering when they were getting BMWs and $1 million. Did that pacify the suffering? Because if you're suffering, you should be suffering all the time, right? Nothing should get in the way of that. I don't know. I just come from a different time. It's unknown what Henry was referring to because rape has been illegal since 17th century BC. You know. Like, it's just... I just reply, hate to say it, Henry, but this... but there is text that show that rape definitely happened. No hush money fixes that. God, what a horrible fucking take, and I liked Mark. Right? That's all I said there. And then... Eric replied with, people are defending Henry for this comment because power dynamic that Vince used for decades is apparently a myth. And I said... It doesn't matter. There was alleged rape, and you can't say something that insensitive, and I truly feel Henry only said that because he doesn't realize that he was also treated like a pile of shit over this guy. Also, the guy's whole Hall of Pain run started because Vince legitimately bullied him and pissed him off. And Vince said, money! And then Henry ran with it. So he's basically a victim and doesn't know it yet. And just excuses it because he got a world title run out of it. Eric then replied with, reminds me of when Corbin had to excuse Vince for physically hitting him until Vince left, and he's just candid with, if he wasn't my boss, I would have decked back. And I said... Without even caring. Like, I didn't even care at that point, because I remember when he said that, and I defended Corbin then. I'm defending Corbin now here. I still think Corbin should have decked a cunt for that. I'm not afraid to use that strong language in this case either. That is such a dick move. Fuck Vince for that. You know, like, it's just not fucking... It's not how you do business. It's just not how you do business. I don't hide that I used that word, and I called Vince that word. I don't care. Sue me. You abuse your power, you abuse people, you rape people, you bully people. You get what you fucking deserve. Sorry, not sorry. I still maintain that Corbin should have decked this fucking guy. I don't know why he didn't, and I'm never going to understand why he didn't at all. Oh, and then I guess I copied this twice. I had a lot of fucking tweets, could you tell? Oh, this fucking thing. This was absurd to me. Alright, guys? It was absurd to me. I don't get why there's hate. She's just dancing. Like, whatever. I think this is a bit much. Dude, the person who said this... Oh, Oh, okay, so I didn't even see the comments because I refused to see the comments. But apparently the comments were really fucking bad, according to King. So, King A-Train replies with, God damn, if you want a prime example of people who only support one company and not said wrestler after said wrestler makes the jump to a different company that they're supposed to be a fan of, just look at the comment section of this post. I didn't even... I was not going down that rabbit hole of that comment section. So yeah, this is the thing in context. I'm actually gonna just... There you go. So Swerve's theme is playing in the background. There's Darby Allin. There's Swerve Strickland. They're all chilling. They're having a good time. It's just Mercedes doing her dance. She's in high heels, by the way, in stilettos. She's hopping around. And then she's doing the little, you know... the whip nay-nay. Plus she's got a fucking belt on her. Anyway, point is, she's having a good time. Let her fucking have a good time. Like, let her have fun. Like, I don't get it. like, I get there's hatred for Mercedes or whatever. But really? Really? I don't even want to see the comment. I know there's some sexist shit. I know there's some awful shit there. Tribalism is the true hindrance for the growth of the industry. This is Exhibit F-Y 234 at this point. Yes, that means tribalism is so fucking bad we ran through the alphabet 233 times. I think I meant to say F 234 and not F and Y 234, but same fucking difference. Who gives a shit? So yeah, it's just, again, more of that bullshit. There's some good things. There's some good things that you see on Twitter, like some people dug up Solo's old history from 2013. I need to laugh. Hold on. I love this. I love these sets of tweets, bro. I'm gonna read Solo tweets 10:34:13. I hate math. Angry emojis. 10/29/2013. Hate math! Exclamation mark! Explanation mark emoji. Angry faces emoji. 11/21/13. Damn shit! I hate math! Angry emojis. and then he said history globe emoji and math graph and then a graph going down. 12/16/13 and then there was another tweet before that on 12/4/13. Fuck math. Wrestling tweets that live rent-free in my head by WrestleMania. Honestly, A tier right here, but I just tweeted at Solo Sikoa. Same, brother. Same. I feel you there. And I show that to show that it's not all negative all the time, which is why sometimes I'll go on Twitter. You'll get these gems every now and again, right? So this is fun. There's a few other gems that I could have shown in here. There's plenty of them. But I'm actually going to focus on the negative because the negative is that bad. But that's not to say that positive shit does not happen like this. This made me laugh. I love this fucking shit, man. So yeah, there's that. Then there was the fucking Fire Logan Paul by a girl named Morgan Moore. Yeah, I know about her because of the whole MJF thing. Oh my god, I hate my race. Not my race. What am I talking about? I hate my gender. I hate my gender. I hate it. Fire Logan Paul, WWE. This is right after he said that transphobic shit, or perceived transphobic shit. In some people's eyes anyway, it's perceived. Luke Smith said, grow up. Some fucking nobody Luke Smith said, grow up. Morgan just replied with, I'm not the one calling a woman a man to an audience of millions. You and Logan Paul grow up. And I said, can you give me context? And then I found the context and I said, ugh, never mind. For fuck's sake, Logan, not surprised. Why kill your career with just being so harsh? And then I just stopped giving a shit about Logan Paul because, you know, shouldn't be surprised. That whole fucking scenario I talked about on Open Mic Night with his crypto scam and all the other bullshit that he's fucking caused. Fuck him. Right? This was absurd to me. Absurd to me. This shit from Comic-Con. Zoe Stark had gotten her first action figure. She was very, very happy. She was over the fucking moon. She was emotional. She was tearing up. She was crying, right? It was a dream of hers. I guess we play it. I want to just make sure we get the context right. I think is it just muted?
All right. This is all my whole life. I've wanted to be a WWE wrestler. Fuck.
Yes, yes. This is what this is about. This is exciting for me.
This is awesome. It's emotional, so thank you. This means a lot. All right. This is all.
So that was the clip. It's very harmless. He gives her a hug because she's crying because, you know, he's a person who gives a shit. Right? This fucking goddamn AEW fucking sicko here says, CM Punk gets way too close and friendly with the female talent on WWE roster. Way too touchy for a man who's married. I wanted to have a conniption fit. And I saw this shit. And apparently I'm not the only one in the multiverse, or whatever the fuck's left of it. Greg Cherry also commented, tell me you've never had a female friend of the opposite sex. Wow. Without saying you've never had a female friend of the opposite sex. Whatever the fuck. I said female friend, you get the point. I reply, but don't respond to a tribalism account, man. While I agree with your sentiment, they clearly do it just because they hate Punk and can't get his dick out of their mouth. Don't pay attention. It's really dumb. I love Greg, by the way. I didn't say that to be, I didn't say he was really dumb for responding. I get the whole sentiment. I get why he did it. I just said that looking out for him to protect his mentality, really. Oh my god, that fucking tweet was savage by Greg. I love that. That was tremendous. Here's some more positive stuff. This little girl that punched MJF during the first match between fucking MJF and Ospreay in the crowd. If you guys had not seen that little section of the match, the first match that MJF and Ospreay had, it's fucking hysterical. And it got on local news. Good for them. That's brilliant use of crowd interaction. Like, MJF and Ospreay are the GOATs, right? Like, I'm just going to say that right out of the gate so you can inject some more positivity. Can't wait for the fucking next match on Sunday. It's going to be fucking sweet. So, yeah. That pretty much ends the wrestling Twitter rabbit hole, okay? It's that simple, folks. I get it. I get that people get angry. I get people get passionate. I also understand that you can get a little bit too passionate. And if you let that get to anger, this is the type of shit that you see. And the problem is, so many people have shit like this in the palm of their hand, little computer in the size of a fucking phone now, that, you know, it's absolutely absurd. It's just absolutely absurd. Anybody can say anything now without repercussions sometimes, and it shows as to exactly what happened that day with WWE. I'm sorry, with AEW. And even with WWE especially. Like, this tribalistic nonsense has plagued this industry for way too long. And I'm just waiting for the day that, AEW and WWE just get the fucking wax that is Elon's come out of their fucking ears and learn to do business with each other. And I've accepted the fact that that may never happen. That, honest to God, may never happen. But it should. It should happen. If you want a thriving industry, tribalistic bullshit is not the way to go anymore. It's never going to be the way to go. I think we all have seen that now. I think even more now more than ever, I think the tribalistic nonsense, the toxic ass discussions that just end nowhere good is not helping industry growth. I think it's pushing hardcores away. It's definitely pushing casuals away. You saw it with that guy who didn't know who Liv was and how he got so much hate for that. Like, this is a constant thing. It hasn't gotten any better. It's never going to get any better. And I think people need to understand why I am not as passionate as I used to be with pro wrestling. Because I don't got the fucking time or minerals to deal with this bullshit every day. I'm obviously going to talk about it here because I figured it was, worth showing the proof in the pudding, right? But it's rough out here in the IWC. It's really bad, guys. Like, you have seen it now. It's fucking shit. Like, that's not a fucking exaggeration at this point. Like, you've seen it now with your own two eyes. It's bad. It's bad on all fronts. And I just don't want to be dragged into that nonsense anymore. Literally, I could be dragged into this. I'm not perfect. I've done some stupid shit because I've been a part of the IWC and been chronically online. I don't want to fucking do that with the fucking IWC. It's just not something I want to do. I want to enjoy my wrestling. I want to enjoy it at my own pace. And that's how I'm going to enjoy my wrestling at my own pace. Bro, I still have yet to watch SummerSlam. And I was going to watch it. And then I saw people complain that there was no tag matches. Which I kind of agree with. But still, it's just like, oh my god, more bitching and complaining? Like, no thanks. And I know people are going to be like, well, why, like that guy said to Kelsey, like, why are you letting random people affect your enjoyment of wrestling? I know that was one thing that Jesse said ages ago. And as I said, part of it's a me issue. I'm too empathetic, I'm too empathic for my own good. I really am. And until I can find a way where I can balance out the fucking shit, I can't watch Wrestling Weekly, because it's just going to make me fucking miserable. It made me miserable when I was doing it before. Especially when I had 50 million things to do when it comes to wrestling content. Which I don't have nearly as much of anymore, thank God. I got no time for this shit, man. I got better things to do with my time. So, that's what I did. And I'm loving life because of it. I'm a lot happier. I'm not as angry. I'm not as frustrated. There are times I've gotten frustrated over other shit, but, like, that's just life. I know I got that issue. I gotta get better at that. But overall, I've been way happier than I have been in a long fucking time. And I mean that. Because, like, getting rid of a lot of this fucking dreck has definitely been a godsend. So, moral of the story, if you're going to tune into wrestling, if this is the first video of pro wrestling that somehow you've ever watched, right? Stay off social media, but enjoy the product on television. Watch Monday Night Raw, watch AEW Dynamite, watch SmackDown. Do not go on social media under any circumstances, especially Twitter. Oh, wait. Before I even end this podcast, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about. Far be it from me for defending this guy. There are times where I think he's absolutely have gone out of pocket and he deserves a lot of the hate that he gets because he kind of brought it up on himself. But JD from New York posted a tweet about the tag team division in AEW. The 3 teams in the ladder match are the only 3 teams in the division, I think, is what it boiled down to. He said, FTR have only been brought in to feud with the Young Bucks. The Acclaimed are ice cold. The state of the tag team division is awful. Absolutely dead division. That's nothing against... It wasn't anything against him. It was everything against creative and how they, booked the the tag team division. I agree with most of what he said, and that's because other people have said that, and I also think that. I think the tag team division has absolutely taken a drastic hit, especially with the addition of the AEW, the Ring of Honor tag team division, and 6-man division on top of the AEW Trios division. Like, it's a fucking mess, like, company-wide. So, I agree with what he said there, and I don't disagree with anything there. Dude, they're already doing a private party trio with Scorpio Sky. They have nothing else for Scorpio Sky and or for private party to do, so they're going to put them in a trio. Which I'm not entirely against, but it's like, is it actually going to pay off to anything? My guess is probably not. We'll see, though. I don't know. Maybe they're on the mystery team in All In, and it's not the Blackpool Combat Club, although I highly doubt it. So JD made that tweet, and then I guess Matt Kuhn or somebody, who was Dax's old podcasting partner, quote tweeted him after unblocking him, I guess. He had him blocked, and then he unblocked him just to quote tweet him. And then Dax saw that, and then said something disparaging along the lines of, he's just a piece of shit and he's an asshole. He doesn't appreciate the type of work we do when we put our bodies on the line for your entertainment. This is what I mean by the online discourse is fucking rough. There is a way you can handle that type of criticism. Yes, it's brutal honesty. I'm not saying it's not brutal honesty. You should have some brutal honesty in wrestling. I know JD is not everybody's cup of tea. He's not even my cup of tea a lot of the time. But when he says something that brutally honest, sometimes it takes brutal honesty for shit to change. Right? It's not the worst thing in the world to hear. Genuinely, I don't see the issue with that comment. He never fucking called out Dax. He never said he hated Dax. I've heard him constantly praise Dax and FTR for having Tag Team of the Year. He called Dax at one point Wrestler of the Year. At an AEW press scrum, no less. Right? And they want to say that he's just an asshole who, says a bunch of shit and then don't appreciate the back-breaking shit that they do. It's ridiculous. I will say that you don't really hear a lot of this shit in WWE because WWE people don't go and just say a bunch of bullshit for no reason to fans like me or to some Joe Schmo from Kokomo all the time. But anytime anything critical of AEW is said, wrestlers for some reason go on the defensive and attack fans that are still left. Like, that's the goal. Like, it's very TNA-esque. I remember when Bully Ray did that stupid shit with Don Tony. back in 2013, like right before AJ left, right? It's indicative of this fucking toxic tribalistic mentality in the space. It really is, and it has infested itself into the management of AEW and WWE in some cases, but not nearly as much now. But that's because they're on a high. Business is as hot as it's been in years. But like AEW isn't, and instead of taking the criticisms, at face value and trying to improve upon what might be the issues, they take it to heart and just lunge at these creators and lunge at these people online when you shouldn't really give a shit. If you don't think there's a problem, ignore it. If you think there is a problem and you're angry about what somebody said, you're angry at the wrong person. You're angry at the person who said that. Take it up with the guy who's running creative, Tony Khan. I say this because there's not enough people that have that take, and I think people need to have that take a lot more. And I understand JD is very abrasive. I agree with you 100% if you're going to say, well, you're a JD nut hugger. I've criticized JD. JD was an asshole for what he said about Alexa Bliss. But it was also years ago, and I'm not going to hold him to the same standard of, I actually give people time to grow and hopefully learn from their mistakes. From the looks of it, it looks like JD did, because, again, I didn't see any tweet of him targeting Dax personally. He just was talking about the creative decisions on the television show. He did not personally attack Dax in any fucking way. And we're not going to play this bullshit game of, oh, well, if you attack the creative that I'm a part of, then, you are attacking me personally. Because if we're going to go by that logic, Dex, I mean, then I should be fucking, accepting of everything that you had to go through during the Vince era of WWE when the Usos shaved your fucking back. Nah. I'm not, because it was stupid then, it's stupid now, it never should have happened. It was a stupid idea from bad creative, and that is gone from that place now. So, I should also be able to say, this tag team division is stupid, there should be more for FTR to do, there should be more for the Bucks to do, and there should be more for the Acclaim to do. It is a dead division. That is not indicative of me personally attacking you, Dax. This is what I mean by, the stupid bullshit that goes on social media. People get so offended over the most minute shit imaginable. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Give me a second while I pause here. So, yeah. I got nothing else to say, really. I don't know what else can be said. In conclusion, if you're going to watch wrestling, if this is somehow your first video, watch the wrestling shows and stay off social media at all costs. If you are a hardcore wrestling fan, do better. And we all have to do better. We are not at a point where we could just root for home teams and, point our flag and just wave the fucking AEW flag or wave the WWE flag. The industry-wide is struggling. Especially domestically here in this country. AEW struggling, TNA struggling, WWE is even struggling, by the way. They don't sell out every show, contrary to popular belief. New Japan, struggling. MLW is struggling. Most wrestling companies, unless you're like an indie that has a, different standard, is struggling. Legitimately, there's a lot of companies struggling here right now, domestically in this country. We can't just plant our flag on the AEW camp or the WWE camp. we need to hope better for the industry. We need to worry about the wrestlers and not necessarily the management. We need to have a different mindset going forward, because having this tribalistic fucking I'm with WWE or, I'm with AEW mindset is really not helping. Especially when it completely echo chambers your judgment and you cannot just see reason. Like, we're at a point now where we are just losing our minds. And it's getting worse and worse the longer social media exists. So, be safe out there on social media land. Try not to take things too seriously and just enjoy what you like and don't be a dick about it. That's simple. That said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the JHebert side of things. I hope you all enjoyed. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you turn that post notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment if you like today's episode. Make sure you leave a comment in the live chat as well. All that shit helps the algorithm, please and thank you. Check out these two things at the end screen here. Garry Hebert's trailer, and I say that because the documentary part 1 should be coming out very, very soon. Be on the lookout for that one. That's actually a thing now. I got everything else done. So be on the lookout for that. And also, check out AEW All-In Watch-Along of some kind on Sunday. I will be on the call for that, probably with Noah Foster. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, we will see you on the JHebert side. Peace out.
Yeah, you've got something to